joining us, and welcome to Gridiron Glory, episode 18. I'm Alexander Cook, and today we're going to talk about the college football playoff top 25 week 13 edition going into week 14. We're going to preview some big matchups on Thursday night and Friday night, both in the NFL and in college football, and I'll also weigh in on new developments in the Heisman race. So let's start with the college football playoff top 25. And here we go. Number 25 is Pittsburgh after a huge and, record-setting win between Pitt and Syracuse. It was the highest scoring game ever played in FBS football. Your final 76-61 Pitt over the 4-8 Cuse. Orange is the new fast is the motto for the Syracuse Orange, and they're very fast. And they're very good on offense, but they're not good. And the coach at Pitt says he's happy with the win, but he's sick with the defense. And you better believe he's sick with the defense. But give Syracuse credit. They've Dino Babers, but they need something to get going on defense. They want to become an elite program. So that number 25 was Pitt. They're currently sitting at 8-4. Number 24, Houston, 9-3, falling after a loss to Memphis. And of course, Tom Herman was interviewed by ESPN's Cole Kubelek, and Cole Kubelek asked if any of the job speculation is true. Tom Herman said no way, and then Saturday he leaves for the Texas Longhorns. And one of the ESPN analysts said during the highlights of that game, why did Houston lose? Lack of focus. But Tom Herman said they were only focused on that game. He basically lied in front of the media. And that's not the right thing to do. It reminds me of Nick Saban lying about leaving Miami for Alabama. Number 23 is an ACC title contender. The 9-3 Virginia Tech Hokies. Number 22 Tennessee. They fell to Vanderbilt. I mean, who loses to Vanderbilt? It's pretty embarrassing when you think about it. By the way, are you surprised? Virginia Tech beat Virginia like a drum. Number 21 is LSU after a good win over the Texas A&M Aggies. LSU currently at 7-4 and Tennessee at 8-4. LSU, they need to make more changes on offense, but their defense, for the most part, not so much in that game, looks strong. A hard loss to Florida, of course, in Week 12, but of course, Ed Orgeron becomes the next head coach for the LSU Tigers, and we'll see if he has success. His track record doesn't indicate success. Number 20 is Utah, and they're 8-4. Number 19, Navy at 9-2. Number 18 is Stanford at 9-3. Number 17, Western Michigan, finally moving up, and they're undefeated, 12-0. Congratulations, Broncos, row that boat. And you're on the way to the Cotton Bowl where you might actually get a win. Of course, they have to play Friday night on ESPN2 to get there in the MAC championship game. I'll break that down a little bit later. And good job, Western Michigan Broncos. And PJ Fleck, head coach of the Broncos, may have a big job in his future. Number 16, West Virginia at 9-2. Number 15, Florida, 8-3, again falling to Florida State. Absolutely embarrassing. And Florida has just, for 4 straight years, have not been able to beat the Seminoles. They did not look very good in that game at all. Number 14 is Auburn, 8-4, taking a whipping against Alabama. Number 13, Louisville, 9-3. And they lost to Kentucky? You lose to Kentucky? After losing to Houston? Come on, Louisville. if you think back, we were talking you as a college football playoff contender. Now where have you been? 2 straight losses for the Louisville Cardinals. Number 11 is USC with a strong win over Notre Dame. Number 10 is Oklahoma State, and they faced a test against Oklahoma for the Big 12 title. Of course, Big 12 doesn't have an official title game, but this is top 2 teams once again in the Big 12 facing off next week on Fox this week, week 14. I'll give you my pick on Friday. You'll want to tune in. Then we have number 9 in Oklahoma, 9-2. Number 8, Colorado, 10-2. In Colorado, just this weekend, a good win over Utah. That kind of sort of gets them to conversation, but not really. But they do have a shot against Washington. And we'll tell you where they are in just a second. Number 7 is Penn State at 10-2. Number 6, Wisconsin at 10-2. Number 5, Michigan, after losing to Ohio State in overtime. Not dropping far. Not dropping far at all. Only 2 spots from number 3 to number 5. Number 4, who's there? Washington, 11-1. Number 3, Clemson at 11-1. Number 2, Ohio State at 11-1. And then number 1, good old mighty Alabama. Rolling after an easy win in the Iron Bowl. And that's a rivalry where we usually focus our attention. Not so much anymore with the game becoming so big. Maybe next year for the Auburn Tigers. Now, here are my thoughts on this list. I'm pretty satisfied. Number 1, Alabama, of course. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Clemson. Number 4, Washington. Number 5, Michigan, not Wisconsin, because you beat Wisconsin, you beat Penn State, you should be ahead of them. I think Wisconsin's a better team than Penn State, so they should be ahead of Penn State. And then here's the thing. Colorado has one of their losses came from Michigan. The other one came from USC. Of course, USC, a very good team. So if I'm the committee, I'm looking at Colorado, and I think they deserve more respect than what they've been getting. Maybe I'd even put them at number 6, at least number 7. But they're at number 8, and that's the way it is. I just wish they'd get more. I think they deserve more respect, but I think the committee did a good job overall, other than that one slip-up. And it's not really a slip-up because the Big Ten, of course, a bigger conference, and Colorado hasn't had the most impressive win over Utah. But a ranked team, a good win for the Utah Utes. And if you look at Colorado's record, it's been 2 straight ranked wins for those Colorado Buffs. Of course, last week it was Utah, and the week before was Washington State, and 2 good wins over solid teams for the Colorado Buffs. So I wish they'd get a little more respect out of those games, but at the same time, it's a decent ranking. But that's just my thoughts. Other than that, I like the top 10. I like that Oklahoma's ahead of Oklahoma State with that huge win over West Virginia earlier, and pretty much I'm in agreement with this set of rankings. Now, of course, the one that matters is next week. It's Sunday, and we're going to have a special edition, Gridiron Glory. Same Sunday edition, but we're going to bring you the College Football Playoff Top 25 too. It's going to be a lot of fun as we wait for that big ranking to come out. And let's take now, with the College Football Playoff Top 25 rankings behind us, let's take a quick peek at the Heisman race development. And in the Heisman race right now, according to ESPN, Lamar Jackson on top, number 1, Deshaun Watson number 2, D.D. Westbrook number 3, Baker Mayfield number 4, and Dante Foreman at number 5. And, here's the thing. I don't think Dante Foreman has a chance to win this thing. So number 5 for me is Jake Browning, because if he can get the job done, get to the Big 12 title, get into the playoff, then you're looking at him being much higher. And then same thing for Baker Mayfield, D.D. Westbrook, great seasons, good job. But my idea here is that if you can't get into the playoff, then that puts Deshaun Watson definitely in there. Of course, Lamar Jackson, he's just been too strong. Not necessarily recently, but before, he's just been too strong. But I'd say number 1, Lamar Jackson. Number 2, Deshaun Watson. Number 3, I'm going to put Jake Browning. Not because of his performance this week, but because that's where I think he'll be. Number 4, I'm going to put right here, I'm just going to go ahead and do D.D. Westbrook, and number 5, Baker Mayfield. Because I think Jake Browning could get into this conversation just because his team, he has a good game, and his team gets into the playoff, which is a huge thing. We look at the team, we look at the quality of performance of him, and he has that if he can get the job done. And we'll see if he can. We'll find, and you'll get my pick tonight with a good game. Number 8, Colorado, taking on number 4, Washington, Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, the same facility that hosted the Super Bowl. That one will be a good one. And now let's turn our attention to some Thursday night football, TNF. And it's the Vikings taking on the Cowboys. In that one, it's going to be U.S. Bank Stadium, beautiful new stadium for the Minnesota Vikings, as Minnesota has just been losing games recently. That great start right out of the gate, doing well, and now they're 6-5. You look at the Cowboys; they're 10-1. For me, it comes down to just what the Cowboys have been able to do. And their offense, so good. I'm impressed with what Dak Prescott has done. I'm impressed by the whole offense. And the defense has been solid, not the best. And they're going to face a test against the Vikings defense, but Vikings just been losing too much recently. Cowboys so strong, and I think they get a close win on the road at US Bank Stadium. Remember, it's Thursday, December 1st at 8:25 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on NBC and the NFL Network, as well as streaming live on Twitter. And that should be an interesting game, but for me, just Cowboys too strong at the time. And some Friday night games, we have number 17 Western Michigan taking on Ohio at Ford Field for the MAC championship game. Of course, very good Western Michigan team, 12-0, 8-0 in the MAC. Ohio's a decent football team. They're 8-4 and 6-2 in the MAC. And Western Michigan Toledo was supposed to be a very competitive game. I thought it'd be very close, but in the end, Western Michigan would win. Instead, Western Michigan just gets the job done for a long time, and they win pretty big, I'll say, against the Toledo Rockets, 55-35. I think it'll be another story. I think it'll be a similar story. I think it'll be a close game at first, but in the end, I just see Western Michigan pulling away with a big victory in the MAC championship game. I see them moving on to the Cotton Bowl, where they will certainly do their best to challenge whoever they may face, in which should be a great game. And then 9 p.m. Eastern, a must-watch on Fox. Number 8, Colorado taking on number 4, Washington in the Pac-12 championship game. And that's at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. For me, it comes down to what Jake Browning has been able to do. And Colorado has been a good football team, but Washington just so good. I don't want to take anything away from the Buffs, but Washington manhandled Washington State. They looked so good recently. I'm picking Washington to pull away late and get this win. I think it'll be close up front, but in the end, I just love those Washington Huskies in this game. Jake Browning, I think, is going to have a monster night, and he's going to be in that Heisman conversation for sure. Of course, Western Michigan, Ohio on ESPN2 at 7 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. Number 8, Colorado. Number 4, Washington on Fox. And I'll give you my Saturday college football predictions on Friday. You'll want to tune in to our Friday podcast. We're going to preview how the playoff is going to look. I'm going to give you all the picks you need on a big Saturday in college football, including huge matchups, at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Number 10, Oklahoma State visiting number 9, Oklahoma. We'll have it 4 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. Number 1, Alabama taking on number 15, Florida, which sports a very good defense. And then 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have 2 big ranked matchups. Number 3, Clemson facing number 23, Virginia Tech. And then, of course, number 6, Wisconsin facing number 7, Penn State. It'll be a huge weekend in college football, and you'll want to hear my picks, my analysis, and everything you need to know concerning those games this Friday. Be sure to tune in for all of that. And that's how we're going to say so long from the studio. I'm Alexander Cook, and please follow us on Twitter at @TheFootballKids. That's @TheFootballKids. Check us out on Facebook by searching Gridiron Glory Sports Podcast, and follow my personal account at Gridiron Glory. Follow me on Facebook at Gridiron by searching Gridiron Glory Sports Podcast. And please subscribe, but most of all, please tell your friends about us. We love our viewers more than anything else in the world, and I just want to thank you for being a viewer, and hopefully you will come back all the time to listen to my podcast. And you'll want to follow me on Twitter at @TheFootballKids, but because I'm going to have news. Perhaps our first live stream will be on Sunday, preparing for the college football playoff top 25. You'll find out by following me at @TheFootballKids. I'll bring you all the live updates for that. Of course, I also bring you live updates for all the major games that you need to know about, all the ranked CFB games, and all of the NFL games. That's, once again, on my Twitter account at @TheFootballKids. Have a great weekend and a great night.